I think we're live.
Okay, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Page 143, 143. Hari Bol Bo Ar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo. Page 143. Hari Bol Bo Ar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo. Hari Bol Bo Ar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo. এই রূপে তেরে ব্রজের পথে চালিব গো আমি, এই রূপে তেরে ব্রজের পথে চালিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো। যাব গো ব্রজেন্দ্রপুর, হব গোপী পায়ে নূপুর, যাব গো ব্রজেন্দ্রপুর, হব গোপী পায়ে নূপুর। আমি নূপুর হয়ে রুনু জুনু বাজি গো গো, আমি নূপুর হয়ে রুনু জুনু বাজিব গো, রাধা কৃষ্ণের রূপ মাধুরী হেরি বধু নয়ন ভরি, রাধা কৃষ্ণের রূপ মাধুরী হেরি বধু নয়ন ভরি। নিকুঞ্জের দ্বারে দ্বারে রহিব গো, আমি নিকুঞ্জের দ্বারে দ্বারে রহিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো। বিপিনে বিনোদা খেলা সঙ্গে তেরা কালে মেলা, তাদের চরণের ধুলা মাখিব গো, আমি তাদের চরণের ধুলা মাখিব গো। তোমরা সবে ব্রজবাসী পুরা মনে অভিলাষী, আর কবে কৃষ্ণ বংশী শুনিব গো, আমি আর কবে কৃষ্ণ বংশী শুনিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো। এ দেহে অন্তিমা কালে রাখবো শ্রী যমুনা জলে, এ দেহে অন্তিমা কালে রাখবো শ্রী যমুনা জলে। জয় রাধে গোবিন্দ বলে ভাসিব গো, আমি জয় রাধা গোবিন্দ বলে ভাসিব গো, কহে নরোত্তম দাস না পুরিল অভিলাষ, কহে নরোত্তম দাস না পুরিল অভিলাষ। আর কবে ব্রজবাস করিব গো, আমি আর কবে ব্রজে বাস করিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো। এই রূপে তেরে ব্রজের পথে চালিব গো, আমি এই রূপে তেরে ব্রজের পথে চালিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো, হরি বলবো আর মদন মোহন হেরিব গো। কৃষ্ণ হে কৃষ্ণ হে কৃষ্ণ হে কৃষ্ণ হে Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya Vrindavana Dham Vrindavana Dham Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya Vrindavana Dham Vrindavana Dham Jaya Vrindavana Dham Jaya Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Narottama Thakur Narottama Narottama Thakur Narottama Thakur Narottama Thakur Narottama Narottama Thakur Narottama Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Go Premanande Hari Hari. Thank you.
Maharaj. You showed the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be on mute because, I mean, on
Jai
mute. 'cause-
Nityalila Pravishta Om Maharaj.
Oh. Jai Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Radhaman Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Shri Radha Damodar Jukti Jai Jai Nityalita Bhavishta Om Vishnu Padasto Tarsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nityalita Bhavishta Om Vishnu Padasto Tarsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Raj Ki Jai Jai Nityalita Bhavishta Om Vishnu Padasta Tatsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Goswami Raj Ki Jai Jai Nityalita Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad Asto Tatsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Mahabhagavad Srila Gorkishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Sachitananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Gaudiya Vedanta Charja Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Traya Ki Jai Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Roy Ramananda Hari Gaur Parsavini Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Zikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shamakunda Radha Kunda Jamuna Ganga Tulasi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radharani Ki Jai Lalita Vishaka Aryasta Sakya Vinda Ki Jai Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Adi Manjari, Vrinda Ki Jai, Purnamasi Devi Ki Jai, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Gopiswama Hadev Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Bhuvana Mangala Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Prihat Bradanga Ki Jai, Shri Urjavrat Ki Jai, Rajmandal Parikram Ki Jai, Shri Narottam Das Thakur, Tirubhav Titi Mahamahotsav Ki Jai, Anantagodi Vaishnav, Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Haribo.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you also to Nalini Didi for singing so beautifully. Always put us in the state of mind to take us on Parikram. So thank you, Nalini Didi, and thank you, Vekanas Maharaj. Agyana Timirandasya Gyana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shrimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayani Tinamane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radha Govinda Priyatmane Shri Shrimad Bhakti Jivanacharya Tinamane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Te Namine. Vanchakalpadrobhisha Kripa Sindhube Vijapatanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Vijay Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. First of all, I'd like to offer my humble obeisances at the divine lotus feet of my Gurudev Nitilila Pravish Om Vishwada Stotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and at the same time Diksha Gurudev Nitilila Pravish Om Vishwada Stotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Jivanacharya Goswami Maharaj, and Nitila Pravish Om Vishwada Stotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, the entire Rupanuga Guru Varga, Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, headed by our Tridandi Pads, Vekanas Maharaji and Tridandi Maharaji today. Thank you all for joining us. We're on day 7 of our Parikram, traveling around Vrindavan. We are now officially heading towards our Govardhana Mutt. And on the way on that route, we stop over, we pay pranams to certain forests that we don't actually physically go to, some of them, but some we do. And today, Shripad Bhaktivedanta Vaikanas Maharaji and Shripad Bhaktivedanta Tridandi Maharaj will speak on the beautiful forests of Madhuvana, Talavana, Kumudavana, and Bahulavana, as well as Paitha and Candra-sarovara. Again, all places where Krishna and the gopis would spend their wonderful pastimes places. These are forests, or it's not just Vrindavan, it's the whole, all of these forests are manifest so that these pastimes can take place in different locations, either with the sakhas or the gopis themselves. Also today is the divine disappearance day of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who we pay obeisances to, who we read his kirtans all the time to get that mood of prayer that we want to grow in bhakti. So without further ado, without any hesitation, I will invite Shripad Tridandi Maharaj to take us to the first couple of places, and then followed by Vekanas Maharaj. Hari Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranams Maharaj.
Dandavat Shodri, Dandavat Pranams, Hari Bol. Gurave Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Dadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Om Agnyat Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And first of all, offering millions and millions of Dandavat Pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimat Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again, millions and millions of times, unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Nityalila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimat Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And today especially, I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to that divine personality, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, on his Tirabhav day, and all our divine Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat Pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Turupyascha, Kripa Sindhuvevacha, Patitanam Pavnibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. So as we've just said, it's the Tirabhav of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, and our dear Bhaktivedanta Vaikanas Maharaj will describe the pastime of his disappearance day. We'll do that a little bit later, so we'll be doing that. But now, as Yashodhari was saying, we've actually left the quite congested Vrindavan township. There's millions of people there. They really test the infrastructure of that little village when it's pushed to the limits with so many tourists, so many pilgrims, we can say. And they're in their hundreds of thousands. It gets bigger every year. So we've left that congested place, and we've come to the west bank of the Jamuna. We've covered we went to Bahulavana on the eastern bank. And above Bahulavana, we have Bhadravana and Bandirvan. And below Bahulavana, we have Mahavan and Lohavan. And now on this side of the Jamuna, we're coming across to beautiful, incredible forests. The first will be Madhuvana, and then Talavana, then Kumudavana, then Bahulavana, and then we come to Vrindavana, and then we go to Candra-sarovara and Kumudavana. There's 7 forests on the western side and 5 forests on the eastern side. It's very helpful if at some point we become familiar with the geography and can appreciate the places where we are, so we're not so bewildered by the external movement, etc. So yes, as Yashodhari was saying, we've come by bus to this Madhuvana, and this place is just a very rustic village. It's something similar to Bahulavana, but it's so incredibly beautiful. It's really, really powerfully beautiful. Partly because its history is so ancient. It goes right back to Satya Yuga, and we'll go through the different yugas in a minute. But when we come into this large kund, it's Krishna Kund. It's about the size of a football pitch. It's a big, big kund. It's a very big kund. Therefore, it's clean because it's so big. And because the area generally just has buffaloes and cows and a few villages there, it doesn't get excessively polluted or anything like that. And as we come in, there's a beautiful temple on our left, and there's Radha Madhav are there, because this is Madhuvana. And also, we'll discuss before we leave the beautiful Dauji Bai. Daubaji is here, the Baladev in his sham hue. There's only a few mandirs with Baladev as Shyam, as blackish. And it's very, very powerful, beautiful, beautiful deity. So we'll see this deity on our way out. And you have to remind me to tell you about it before we leave. But we're coming in now to the beautiful Kund, and we're remembering its history. Its history is quite phenomenal. It stretches across the yugas. It starts in Satya Yuga. And it's called Madhuvana because Krishna killed the huge Madhu demon here. There were 2 demons that were born from the earwax of Lord Vishnu while he was in a yoga nidra state of sleep. And from the wax in his ears, they manifested. This is Madhu and Kaitaba. But they're demons. They weren't programmed by Lord Brahma to come. So they manifested, and in their demonic nature, they attacked Lord Brahma, and they stole the Vedas from Lord Brahma. Big demons, I said, huge demons. And Lord Brahma was anxiously trying to wake up Vishnu. This is a Vishnu form. Of course, he's Krishna ultimately, but he's in his manifestation as Vishnu in this Leela. And eventually, with so many prayers and hymns, Lord Brahma manages to bring him out of his yogic trance, and he wakes up. And then these 2 demons, Madhu and Kaitaba, they've gone down to Patala Loka. So with the Vedas. So Vishnu, he manifests in his higher Griva form, that form with the horse's head. And he dives down into Patala Loka, and he fights with these demons. These demons have performed great tapasya to Devi, to Srimati Devi, Durgama, and they've been given a boon that they can die whenever they want to die. So they're pretty much impregnable. And they know that. They're like Hiranyakashipu, just became tyrannical because they have that very powerful boon. So Krishna here, or Vishnu, in his higher Griva form, he attacks them. For, it's described, 1,000 years he's battling with them. And he can't defeat them because they can't be killed unless they want to be killed. So then finally, Krishna acknowledges that he's not going to defeat them. And they become very, very proud, thinking, oh, even Vishnu can't defeat us. And then Vishnu, because he's Vishnu, he tells them, I'll give you a benediction. And they're sort of chuckling. What sort of benediction can you give? You know, you can't even defeat us. So then Krishna says, all right, you give me a benediction. This is Krishna's brilliance. You give me a benediction. They said, all right, we'll know. We know exactly how to give you anything you want. We're the controllers. So then Krishna says, the benediction I want is that I can kill you. And they have to agree because they've taken the archament. They've agreed, you know, the fire's there. They've performed the yagya. So they have to agree. So, but then they jump in quickly and they make a condition because everything is still water. This is at the time of the creation. This is before all the planets have fully manifested. So the waters of devastation are still there. That's why Krishna was sleeping in the beginning. Vishnu was sleeping in the beginning. So then they say, yes, you can kill us, but not in the water. And they were thinking, now we're still impregnable because everywhere's water. But then Krishna, from his knee, from his thigh, he raises his thigh through the water so that they're sitting on it. He raises an enormous thigh so that the two enormous demons are sitting on his thigh. But then the demons, they expand themselves millions of times more. So Krishna expands his thigh millions of times more. Then he brings out his Sudarsana chakra and cuts off their heads, both of them. That's his desire, is to kill them. So he kills the Madhu demon this way, but it's by deceit. He can't actually defeat them. It's by brilliance. So this is why Krishna is called Madhusudan. This is the pastime in his higher Griva form. So this happens in Satya Yuga. So this is a pastime that we remember when we come to Madhuvana, because it's covering these ancient yugas. It has millions of years history, actually, at Madhuvana. You can almost sense it in the environment because it's so rich in profusion of birds and trees. Yes, previous, long time, Satya Yuga, before. And this Madhuvana has always existed. So ancient, millions of years. Each Manvantara represents 308 million years. One Manvantara is 308 billion, 308 million years, 308 million years. So we're now in the 7th Manvantara. So this is a long time ago. So this is the Satya Yuga pastime, but also in Satya Yuga and very close by here, there is Dhruvatila. Dhruvatila is just beside the lake, across a wall and walking through a beautiful forest, about half a mile through a forest, and you come to a hill, and there's many steps going up the hill, and now they have a new temple there. And this is the Dhruvatila Mandir now. It's a beautiful temple. And inside is the deity of Lord Narayan. Because I remember the pastime, we all know the pastime, that when Dhruva Maharaj was small boy, his mother, her name is Suniti, and her co-wife is Suruchi, and his father is Uttanapad. His grandfather is Swayambhuva Manu. So Uttanapad is the son of Swayambhuva Manu, two sons of Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavrata and Uttam. So King Uttanapad, he was actually inclined towards Suruchi. Suruchi means taste, but it's material taste. Suniti means more dharmically orientated. So Suniti was more dharmically orientated. She's the mother of Dhruva Maharaj. So when Dhruva Maharaj was only 5 years old, Uttam, who is his stepbrother, was sitting on his father's lap, sitting on Uttanapad's lap. And Dhruva, he wanted to climb on the lap with his brother also, Uttam, his brother. But Suruchi was there, and she pushed him off. She said, "You can only sit on your father's lap when you take birth from my womb." Small 5-year-old boy, Kshatriya boy though, Kshatriya stock completely, cut him to the quick. And his father didn't make any response. His father just sat there, spellbound by Suruchi, his wife. So Dhruva, he went in intense anger to his mother, biting his lips, not knowing how to respond to this really callous situation that had happened to him. He was deeply, deeply hurt. His mother tried to comfort him. She couldn't comfort him. And finally, he's saying, I want a kingdom that is even greater than my grandfather, greater than Swayambhuva Manu, greater than the first Manu. And Suniti, his mother, she said, well, that's not possible. But you can just take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then all your desires will be fulfilled. So Dhruva says, well, where is this Supreme Personality of Godhead? How can I connect with him? And Suniti says, well, you go to the forest and you meditate. He's in the forest. If you meditate on him, then he'll manifest for sure. Suniti is a dharmic patni, completely dharmic lady. So she impregnated this mood into Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva means determination. He's only 5 years old. His whole life is an example of powerful determination. So he leaves the forest, 5 years old. He leaves the castle, palace, 5 years old, and goes into the dense forest. And on his way, Narad Muni, he sees him and wondering, what is this young boy doing, walking out so determinedly? And he comes down and he tries to dissuade Dhruva from his vow of going to achieve a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. And Narad, he tries to convince him to go back to the palace, play with his friends. He's too young to go to the forest to meditate. There's many wild animals there. There's so many dangers there. He's far too young to actually do that. Dhruva is not even listening to a word. And then finally, Narad realizes, yes, his determination is very strong, very powerful. All right, I'll give him a mantra. And he trains Dhruva in how to perform Satan Bhajan to achieve the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So he tells him how to make a murti, etc. And he gives him the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This mantra. Huh? This is the mantra. This is the mantra that Narad gives to Dhruva. Dhruva. He's just Dhruva this time. He's not a Maharaj. Young boy, 5 years old. So then he goes into the jungle, into the forest, makes a beautiful murti of the Vishnu that Narad has described to him, gets some straw and some mud and crafts a deity form. And then and Narad has said, if you perform this meditation within 6 months, Vishnu will appear. So Vishnu becomes bound by the vow of Narad to fulfill this within 6 months. So Dhruva, he begins his meditation. It's described that the first month, he only takes fruits and berries every 3 days. Every 3 days, he'll take some fruits and berries. Then in the second month, every 6 days, he takes some grass and leaves. Just a young boy. This is why the pastime is so powerful. Because when a young boy performs this type of tapasya, there's no sense of false ego whatsoever. It's just his deep desire and meditation that are propelling him forward. And then in the third month, he takes water only every 9 days. And then in the fourth month, he takes air every 12 days. And then in the fifth month, he stands on one leg. He's so determined. He was so cut by Suruchi. He was so cut to the quick by this insult in front of his father. This is described as the Kshatriya spirit. This is the nature of the Kshatriya spirit. It's very, very powerful. So in the 5th month, he's standing on one leg. And then in the 6th month, his toe starts to press very heavily down on the earth. And the earth is blocked of air because of Dhruva's austerities. And the demigods, they start to choke because they're not getting sufficient air because of Dhruva's austerities. And it's described that Dhruva becomes heavy as the earth himself due to his tapasya. And at this time, Lord Vishnu manifests in his 8-armed form. He's riding on Garuda. In the temple here, we see he just has 4 arms. But actually, we see from the photograph, from the painting that we have today, that he actually has 8 arms. It's described in the Bhagavatam. His 8-armed, yes, 8-armed form. And initially, Dhruva is meditating on Lord Vishnu, and then all of a sudden he disappears from his meditation, and then he opens his eyes and he sees him there right in front of him, and he's just astonished by his beauty. All his material desires immediately become dispelled. It's described that Dhruva feels he was searching for broken glass, and instead he found diamonds. But he can't speak, he can't offer prayers. He hasn't learned any prayers. He's only a 5-year-old child. So Lord Vishnu, he touches him with his conch shell, and immediately these very eloquent prayers of glorification come from his mouth. And Lord Vishnu blesses him that all his desires will be fulfilled. He asks him, first of all, what does he want? And now Dhruva Maharaj, he doesn't want anything. He completely doesn't want anything. Now he's requesting ultimately pure devotion. This is what he's requesting now. This actually is an example of what we call Sakam Karma Yoga. He was performing his practice for a result, for some fruit, but he didn't want any result. But still, Krishna knows, Vishnu knew his desire, so he grants him the kingship. For 36,000 years, he will rule the planet Earth because his father is coming directly from Swayambhuva Manu. So this is in Satya Yuga. So then Dhruva, he's empowered by his darshan of Lord Vishnu, and he returns to the palace. And Narad has already told his father, Uttanapad, about Dhruva's practice and austerities and so on. His father became most remorseful when he heard that his young son had gone to the forest. Then he woke up to his higher senses, and he regretted his action deeply for pushing him off his lap when he was so young. And when they hear from Narad again, because Narad is taking great interest in the whole pastime, that he's on his way back from the forest, King Uttanapad, he comes out of the palace with his whole army, elephants, horses, cavalry, everything, carriages, and he brings both his wives with him, Suruchi and Suniti. And when Dhruva comes out of the forest, he's met by his father's army, such a reception for him. And it's described in the Bhagavatam that Suruchi, his stepmother, she welcomes him, and the milk from her breasts washes him. She welcomes him with so much affection, because one who has had darshan of Vishnu is attractive to the whole world. So Suruchi also becomes purified in this pastime by Dhruva Maharaj's darshan of Vishnu. And then, of course, his mother there, Suniti, and Uttanapad, they go back to the palace. And very soon after this, when Dhruva Maharaj comes to his teenage years, then he's bequeathed the kingship of the empire. And his father, Uttanapad, retires to the forest. And then for many, many years, Dhruva is ruling over the kingdom. His other brother, Uttam, his stepbrother, is one day out hunting, and he becomes killed by some yakshas. And Dhruva, he becomes intensely angry with this, and he goes out strongly with his powerful weapons to chastise the yakshas. but he's just chastising them so heavily, it's described. There are millions of yakshas, and he's killing hundreds of thousands of them. These yakshas are in the service of Kuvera, who's a friend of Lord Shivji. But he becomes so angry that he starts to overdo it. So he's killing far too many. Only one, his brother was killed, but he's killing hundreds of thousands of yakshas. So Swayambhuva Manu, he manifests at that time and requests him to please stop his anger and stop killing all the yakshas. And Dhruva, he's listening carefully, and then he ceases his brutality towards the yakshas. And then Kuvera comes also, and Narad also comes at that time. So this is an example of the Kshatriya spirit again, which is there within this king, Dhruva. And then finally, because Dhruva has the blessing to always remember the Lord. And finally, at the time of his leaving this body, then a celestial Vimana airplane arrives, and he steps on the head of death, who's standing in front of that Vimana, and climbs into the Vimana. And as he's going back, he requests the attendants there, well, where is my mother, Suniti? And then he sees her in another Vimana coming by. But then he gets the benediction of taking the charge of the pole star, which is described in Mahavaikuntha. It's not in Vaikuntha proper. It's on the fringes of Vaikuntha. It's in Mahavaikuntha. It's an eternal realm, the pole star. He wanted to have an eternal kingdom, so he gets the pole star. This was his final destination. So all the celestial bodies, they all revolve around this pole star. So this, in a very shortened version, is the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. It's greatly inspiring that a young boy of so delicate age should do such tapasya with such intense desire. So this is the pastime we hear in Dhruva Tila, and this was in Satya Yuga. And then we hear the pastimes in Treta Yuga. We're still in this beautiful, beautiful forest of Madhuvana. And in Treta Yuga, there was a great demon, another demon called Madhu. And he's in the Sun dynasty. And initially, he was a dharmic personality, but he became corrupted by bad association. And he had been benedicted with a trident by Lord Shiva, that anyone who came to attack him, if he had this trident, he was impregnable. So this was when he was a dharmic personality. But then, as I say, through bad association, he became demonic and started harassing all the local townspeople and so on. Madhuvan is very close to what we call today Mathura. This is the city of Mathura. So the residents of Mathura were being greatly harassed by Madhu. And then one great king came out to attack Madhu, but he was actually slain because of his trident. So then Madhu, when he left this world, he bequeaths his trident to his son, Lavana, Lavanasura now. Lavanasura is born in the family of demons now. So he's completely asuric. So his father gives him this trident, this mystical trident from Lord Shiva, which will protect him from any calamity or any warring fraction or army, etc. So he also begins to harass all the residents of Mathura in particular and the local people. Madhuvan and Mathura are in the same province. It's the same area. And then the residents of Mathura, they go to Ayodhya. This is in Treta Yuga. And they search out Lord Ram, the rishis, and they request that Lord Ram come and subdue this powerful demon, Lavanasura. And Lord Ram, he welcomes them, and he delegates his brother Satrughna to go and rectify this situation. So Satrughna is very happy for this opportunity to serve his divine brother Ram. And he requests, though, can he take the deity of Adi-Varaha? We remember the pastime the other day. We spoke about Varahadev. Varahadev originally was in Swagaloka, in Indra's realm, but Ravana, he had gone there and taken that deity, brought it back. And when Ram defeats Ravana, then that Ram brought that deity to Ayodhya, very powerful deity, Adi-Varaha. So Shatrugna, he's asking, can he please take that deity with him to defeat this Lavanasura? So Ram agrees, and he takes this beautiful deity of Adi-Varaha with him. And then when he comes to the area, the cave where Lavanasura resides, he puts his army on the other sides of the hills, and practically he's just there himself. He has to use deceptive tactics to defeat Lavanasura. He knows about his mystical trident. So he positioned, Lavanasura has gone out hunting this particular day. So Shatrugna, he positions himself in front of the cave where he knows the trident is already there, inside the cave. Lavanasura didn't take his trident out when he goes hunting. The trident is much too powerful just for hunting. So when Lavanasura returns with a spear full of pigs and elephants and all kinds of creatures from the forest, then Shatrugna challenges him. And Lavanasura is trying to get into his cave, but Shatrugna is determined not to allow him entrance into his cave. And he's showering very powerful arrows and weapons on him. And then Shatrugna, he calls his whole army. So Lavanasura has to fight the whole army. And Shatrugna is positioned right in front of the cave where this mystical trident is there. And Lavanasura can't reach it. And eventually, Shatrugna, he severs the head of Lavanasura. So this is greatly, everyone is so happy for that. Now this huge demon has been finally annihilated. And then the residents, they come, and then Shatrugna, he takes that deity of Adi-Varaha into the city of Mathura, which has become quite depopulated because of the demon Lavanasura and previous demons. Mathura has an ancient history. It's very old history, right back to Swayambhuva Manu's time, the initial time of the creation. So then the whole city of Mathura is revived, and Shatrugna is there. When we come to here, Madhuvana today, we'll see just to the right, if we're looking onto Krishna Kund, just to the right, up a little hill, is a beautiful deity of Shatrugna. And we see, who else is there with Shatrugna? His wife is there, yes, Lakshmi Devi. One wife, yes. Yes, and in Dhruva, Tila, there was Dhruva and Lord Narayan. But I'm just trying to remember who is in.
Also,
There's three there, yeah. I don't remember who it was.
it's Dhruva and Narayan down next to the lake and also up on the hill.
Is Dhruv Maharaj, Narad Muni, and Narayan in one?
Yes,
One,
that's
and
on top of the hill.
Shatrugna and his wife is the
Shatrugna
other.
and his wife in the other. Okay. So there's only two in the other. So
Yeah, I'll just share it.
okay. So then that's in Treta Yuga. So we've covered like two yugas so far. And then we come to Dwarpa Yuga. And this is such a charming pastime. Krishna and the cows and the sakas. And the gopis are hiding in the bushes. So there's exchanges with the gopis at this time. But Krishna is performing many beautiful pastimes on the banks of the beautiful Kuntia, the rich Kuntia. And the cowherd boys are wrestling, etc. They're playing. And it's described that the sweet showers of nectar prem are falling all around this madhu. Madhu means honey. So the sweetness of the honey-like pastimes of Lord Krishna are showering around in his cow grazing pastimes. They regularly would come here from Vrindavan or from Nandagaon. They would come to this huge, huge forest Madhuvana is a huge forest, and it's right close beside the Jamuna. It's very close beside the Jamuna. So they would come here. So there's beautiful pastimes of Krishna and the Sakhas. And then in Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came here. And it's described that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a spurti of Krishna with the Sakhas and the cowherd boys, and fainted in ecstasy, Mahaprabhu. So this is in Kali Yuga that we remember the speciality of Mahaprabhu's visiting this Madhuvan, this beautiful Madhuvan. It's described that the gopis, they would exchange with Krishna while he was in Madhuvan. So these are the 4 yugas that are covered in Madhuvan. And then as we leave, oh, I have to say one mantra, because there's one mantra here that we could have said right at the beginning, but we're saying it at the end. That's okay. Once we've heard all the pastime, there's a mantra that's described. It's Om, Hram, Hrim, Madhavanadi, Patya, Madhavaya, Namaha, Swaha. This is the mantra. If we hear this mantra, I'll say it one more time. It means we've had all success in our visit to Madhuvan. Om, Hram, Hrim, Madhavanadi, Pataya, Madhavaya, Namaha, Swaha. This is the mantra that we hear to bring all success while we come to this wonderful forest of Madhuvan. Then as we're leaving, we come to this beautiful deity, and we see this deity of Daubai, Baladev, and he's gone blackish in a mood of Shamras. His feeling towards the gopis was so intensely filled with compassion and wanting to satisfy them. And he knew the only thing that would satisfy them is to have that Rasa Leela, but to be thinking of Sham. So as the gopis are thinking of Sham, Baladev Prabhu himself is thinking of Sham. So all are thinking of Sham when they're having this Rasa Leela, when Baladev, he comes separately from Dwarka to try to pacify them. Krishna won't come. He can't come. If Krishna just came, just even for a few moments, the gopis' separation would be torturous and could never be pacified again. They would leave their bodies if he left after that. My Gurudev describes many times like Krishna had to stay away. He couldn't just come back and pay a visit like Baladev Prabhu can do that, because their separation from Baladev is not so as intense as it is from Krishna. But if Krishna came back again, there would be no way that he could ever leave again. He would have to, because if he left again, they would die. And my Gurudev always gives the example like a hot tawa. If you sprinkle some water on it, it hisses very loudly. But you have to dunk it completely in the water to put the heat out. So either Krishna comes back altogether, but he hasn't finished his pastimes yet. He still has to kill Dantavakra and Shishupal, these last 2 final demons, Dantavakra in particular, and Saula is killed also. So Krishna can't come back. So Baladev comes back, and the gopis' feelings of separation is so intense that Baladev, he performs this Rasa Leela with them. But he goes blackish hue in his meditation on Krishna. He becomes exactly like Krishna. He's Baladev, but he takes on the same mood as Krishna in a Shyam hue. So we have this gorgeous, beautiful deity there, just in the entrance of this mandir in Madhuvan. And we see Daubai, he's there. So this is very beautiful darshan to take. So these are the pastimes in Madhuvan. These are the particular pastimes in Madhuvan. Someone is saying Vallabha Paitha. I don't know that pastime.
No, it's just Vallabhacharya's sitting place also.
Oh, Vallabhacharya's sitting place is there. Okay.
Madhuvan.
So this is Madhuvan. Madhuvan Ki Jai. This is the first forest we visit as we come on to this side of the Jamuna. And then very, very close by, perhaps 3-4 miles, is the second forest today of Talavana. And Talavana is that famous place where the Sakhas, they were challenging Krishna in a mood of like Viraras, Hira. Krishna, you have to kill this demon of hunger. This demon of hunger is causing us great pain. We didn't have enough breakfast this morning. And we can smell these tal fruits that are coming across in the breezes from this forest. But we're not allowed to go there because we heard there's a very dangerous demon there, who probably even frighten you, Krishna. So Krishna, what's that? A demon frightened me? So this is the chivalrous mood that the Sakhas want to inspire within the Lord. So then Krishna looks to Baladev Prabhu and they agree, yes, we will go straight directly. This demon who is guarding this tal forest is called Denuka. Denuka means ass-like. Denuka, ass, someone who carries heavy weights, unnecessary weights, baggage. So this is Denukasura. And he's known to have eaten men. He's a servant of Kamsa, and he's guarding this forest of tal fruit. And the fruits of the forest are made into a drinking beverage, and then they're taken on wagons across to Mathura for King Kamsa. They're his property. And if anyone else trespasses, they get killed by these demons. There's a whole troop of them, many ass-like demons there. So the cowherd boys are in ecstasy to hear of this upcoming confrontation with demons. So they storm into Talavana forest, all of them. And Baladev goes straight to the tal tree and begins to shake it very vigorously. And all the tal fruits start to drop on the earth. And the sound is very loud. And this wakes up Denukasura and all his cohorts. Denukasura comes out of the forest raging, who has dared trespass in my forest, and sees Baladev first, because it's Baladev who's shaking the tree. And then he charges at Baladev, huge ass demon. And he charges with his hind hooves, tries to kick him. And Baladev just deflects him. And then again, he charges back, turns his hind legs on him, and throws his hind legs at Baladev. Baladev just grabs one of those legs and swirls him round. And the centrifugal force of the swirling, he throws him into the top of one of these tal trees. And he hits in the top, and then all the tal trees start to collapse, like in a domino effect. And all the trees start coming down. And with all this noise, all the other demons, they all start roaring out, all these other ass-like demons, donkeys. And then Krishna joins the fun. And then they start swinging these demons around and throwing them into the trees. And all the fruits come down, but they're mixed with the blood of the demons. So actually, the cowherd boys, they don't really want them anymore. The cowherd boys are very Brahminically mood. They don't want these fruits because they've got blood on them. But it's very significant indeed, and we should appreciate, why is Baladev killing this demon first? Why didn't Krishna kill the demon? Because actually this demon is in the family of Prahlad, and Krishna has made a vow that he will not kill anyone in the family, in the lineage of Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad.
The grandson of Bali.
Grandson of Bali, yes. So this is Denuka. So he allows Baladev to go and do that. And also, because this demon Denuka, he represents ignorance and foolishness. And ignorance and foolishness is dispelled by Guru. Guru will dispel the ignorance and the foolishness, but the individual has to actually capture that mood and walk forward with it. He'll just supply the ingredients and the support, but the individual has to actually, it's not like he will take it away, so to speak. He will just highlight where it is in the individual so that they themselves can purify their own ignorance and foolishness. You can't take that away like a miracle. It can't work that way. It has to be the individual himself who is becoming resolute and purifying his own foolishness, etc. So this, of course, is Guru. Baladev is Akhanda Guru Mula Tattva. He's the Guru to inspire all Gurus because of his immense service to Krishna. Baladev is the first manifestation coming from Sri Krishna. ultimately from Swarup Shakti manifesting as Baladev Prabhu. And Baladev Prabhu as the representative, the Ishtadev of the Sandini Shakti. This is the existence potency. Nothing can manifest without that Sandini Shakti. Everything that has existence is manifesting from the Sandini Shakti, the existence potency. So that potency is all orchestrated by Baladev Prabhu. He's the Ishtadev. So everything that has existence, meaning the bodies, even the bodies of Radha and Krishna, the bodies of Nanda and Yashoda, the bodies of the cows, the whole land of Vrindavana, this is all manifesting from Baladev Prabhu in his service to Brajendranandan Shyam-Sundar. All this is enormous. And of course, all the creation coming from the Purusha avatars. This is all manifesting from Baladev Prabhu. So the Sangvit Shakti is acting within the potency of knowledge, but the existence potency is giving everything that is there. So Baladev is that Ishtadev of that existence potency. And that can be accessed through Guru. Guru is with full compassion coming to the conditioned jivas and bringing them to a point of service as Baladev Prabhu is performing so much service, encouraging the living entities to waken up their eternal identity as Jivara Sarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas, their eternal servant mood towards the Lord. Without that mood, nothing can transpire. So this is why Baladev Prabhu, he kills Dhenukasura. It's a very wonderful pastime. Also here, we hear the beautiful description of what it represents. Baladev is going to highlight the anartas within the living entities. So there's a beautiful verse, Maya Mugdasya Jivasyo Neo Narta Chaturvidu Hrid Ubalyam Chaparada Sat Trishna Tattva Vibrama. This verse is describing the 4 types of anartas that Baladev Guru will highlight so that we can purify. So that's Hridai Dubalyam. This is attachment to worthless objects not related to Krishna. And then within that Hridai Dubalyam also there is hypocrisy and deceit, Kutinati. And then there's also envy, seeing another's property. Then there's also Pratishna. All of these are in the packet of Hridai Dubalyam. These 4 in the heart, very deep. And they can only be understood by Guru, that they're there, and purified by our own efforts to root them out. And then there's the anarta of aparad, nam aparad, seva aparad, dham aparad, and aparad to other living entities. So there's 4 aparads, and within each aparad there are 4 sub descriptions of the aparad. We can send a file. We have this file. We can send it to you. It's helpful for us because it highlights what are our obstacles. Guru is always trying to highlight what are our various obstacles so that we can move forward. So then there's Asat Krishna, which is the 3rd, and that's divided into 4 again. Desire for objects of this world, a desire for swaga, desire for mystic powers, desires for liberation. These are the 4 aspects of Asat Krishna. And then there is Tattva Brahm. Trishna. Yes. Trishna. Asat Trishna. What did I say?
You said Krishna.
Sorry. Asat Trishna. Yeah. Asat Trishna. Yeah. So Asat Trishna. Thank you. And then Tattva Brahm. What is the reality? Swarup Brahm. The jiva has forgotten his real identity as servant of Krishna. This is Tattva Swarup. What is his real identity? What is his Tattva Swarup? And he's forgotten that. And Paratattva Brahm. He's confused about who is the absolute truth? Is it Krishna? Is it Bala? Is it Lord Brahma? Is it Shivji? Who is the Ishtadev? So that's also some confusion. That's Paratattva Brahm. And then there's Sadhya Sadhan Brahm, not quite knowing what is the path, what is the journey, what is the sadhan, that I have to perform to attain the sadhya. So this is like confusion. And then the fourth in this category is bhajan virod, vishaya brahm. This is mayavad or impersonal truth. This is becoming completely distracted from the path. So these four anarthas are heard and discussed when we come to Talavana, because they're represented to be purified by rooting out this demon of ignorance and foolishness that our beloved Gurudev will highlight for us, so that we ourselves are having the ability, the strength to purify this nonsense within us and wake up to our higher intelligence and get rid of all this foolishness and become sober in the world and drink the sweetness of these pastimes. In Talavana, it's again, I didn't give any description, but again, it's an absolutely incredible place. So beautiful. So many big, large, ancient trees, a wonderful kund. It's all been renovated now. Previously, it was very, very simple. Just a small courtyard. Gurudev would sit on just a straw bed and speak to us there. And there was no temple or anything. But in a very short space of time, when were we there? 2000, late 90s, something like this. And you remember Maharaj? And it was so simple, but now there's a big temple, and they made the kund very, very beautiful. Sankarshan Kund is there, and they've renovated it very beautifully. So this is Talavana. This is the Talavana that we remember, and we remember the tal fruits that Dhenukasura was guarding on the order of Kamsa, and another demon that big fruits, another demon that Krishna allowed to come into Vrindavan to increase the viraras in this instance of the sakas within there. Some of the demons that come, they increase the different rasas for different particular pastimes, but this is the rasa of viraras that is increased here in Talavana. So this is the beautiful Talavana forest. So we've come to Madhuvana and Talavana. Now we have Kumudavana that Shripad Vaikanis Maharaj will indicate. And then we have Bahulavana, and then we're going to come to Vrindavana. But actually, before we come to Vrindavana, we'll come to Candra-sarovara and Paitha. And our dear Shripad Shuddhavati Maharaj, he will describe that. So if Vaikanis Maharaj would like to speak on Bahulavana and Kumudavana. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasindhabhavacha, Patitanam Pavnibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.
I have a request, because we have to leave in about a half hour every day. And I really wanted to hear about Paitha and Candra-sarovara from Shuddhavati Maharaj. So I'd like to just defer to him, because if I speak, I mean, there's a lot I could say, and I just might go right to the point, half hour, where we, and then I don't get to hear from him. So I would prefer to hear about Paitha and Candra-sarovara right now.
We're just setting up the technology, which might take a full 2 minutes. So if you want to speak for 2 minutes on anything.
All right, I'll speak for 2 minutes on the disappearance of Narottam Das Thakur.
Ah, great. Perfect.
Okay. Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamilitanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhe Vachapadina Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev, all the assembled Vaishnavas. So today is, in fact, the disappearance day of the exalted Sri Narottam Das Thakur, who we heard a few drops about his life and pastimes yesterday, but there's so much that we did not have time to discuss, and which we won't today. But after he arrived in Kaituri and established his preaching, he initiated so many people, and there was a great reception and for him, but there was also an uproar among some resistant Smarta Brahmanas. And they were always upset with the idea that Vaishnavas can initiate anyone of any caste. Even if a Vaishnava is a Shudra, he can initiate someone who is a Brahmin if he has more Vaishnav qualities. So Narottam Das Thakur was like a Kayasta, right? And the Brahmanas were very upset with him, but they could never defeat him. There were so many pastimes when they set people to defeat him, and they were destroyed in debate. Many became his disciples. But at the end of his life, he manifested, like many acharyas will do, sickness pastimes to increase the service mood and sense of separation in the hearts of the disciples. And at one point, he was just lying in bed, unable to move. And the Smartas said, oh, this is proof. This is the fruit of his offenses. Now he can't even move because he's initiated Brahmins. He's not qualified. And the disciples were very upset by this. They didn't know how to counter that argument. And they went and told Narottam this. And he said, oh, they feel that, do they? They think that? And so even though to all eyes he looked like, very thin, unable to move, bedridden, he immediately got up and began to walk through the town and do vigorous kirtan, dancing and chanting, leaping into the air, very much like Jagannath Das Babaji when he came to the place of Mahaprabhu's appearance. And then the Smartas were dumbfounded. Oh, what are we seeing here? And nobody could speak against him at that point. But this was near the end of his time, and so he went back to sickness pastimes. And then when it was time for him to leave, he requested his disciples to take him to the Padmavati River, the very place where he had received the special prem that Mahaprabhu had invested in him, right? And so he was taken to the river, and they helped him in, and he said, please wash my body with this beautiful transcendental river. And they did, and as they washed him, he disappeared into the river. And in some versions it said that his body turned into liquefied milk, right? It became liquid prem. There was no longer what they had seen as his body, just the liquid prem in the form of milk. And they collected some of it. And I've heard that they collected some, and that became the basis for his samadhi there. But this is how he disappeared. From the time of his birth to the time of his leaving, absolutely extraordinary manifestation, completely, always absolutely transcendental, glorious person whose life and whose writings and whose example we study, we pray to, we revere. So all glories to Sri Narottam Das Thakur. So are you set up there? 2 minutes? Boys?
Yeah, you did fantastic, Marge. I think I've just asked Marge and mute also, so hopefully you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, he's set up. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mara.
All right.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
Vikas Maharaj ki jai.
So you're coming
Anyway,
back to Bahulavana.
Go to chapter 17 of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, and you can hear about Mahaprabhu traveling in Kumudavana, Bahulavana, and his pastimes there. Very amazing. Okay.
But we have to hear from you about it.
Well, that's not going to be possible today.
Oh, okay.
We can't do today because we have to hear Paitha and Candra-sarovara.
Oh, very
Haribol.
Marge, also, Vipin Prabhu was here. Maybe he can speak on one of those places if needed.
Bahulavana.
Bahulavana. I'll ask him while I
Wait, you've got to talk about those because I only have a half hour to listen. He can speak to them at the end of his talk.
after you've spoken, Marge.
Yeah. There's so much beautiful to say. Okay, Haribol.
Patitanam pavanibhu ishtaridhu namo namo mukam kacharam pangu
But
mungayanti.
I muted you.
Yatri pantamano shri Gurunatari paramanatamadara pavinamadu. So after leaving Talavana, now we take our bus again. Come on, brothers, dear friends, all go into the buses. Don't be late, don't delay. Everyone got in the bus. And then we arrive next to Govardhana to a very beautiful place, which is called Candra-sarovara. We heard so much from the Patriarch Maharaj, especially about the Ras Lila, which is coming now. We started in Vrindavana. On Saradya Purnim. So the big Ras Lila of the autumn season, Sharad Ras Lila, which is described also in the same Gita Govinda of Jayadev Goswami. So we hear that in that big Ras Lila in Vrindavan, that Krishna started in Vamsivat, all kinds of gopis were there. There were some Nityasiddha gopis. There were some of the Shrutichari gopis, Munichari gopis. Some who had been attracted to different avatars of the Lord as he appeared. We hear that some princesses were attracted to Lord Ram. So all of them, they all took birth in Vrindavan in Krishna's time. And then the big Maharaj was there with all those gopis. But there were all kind of moods, not only Shiv, Thakur, who had been blessed not to attend, that we heard very beautifully the other day, to attend the Lila by Purnamasi, but would not have been given any of his Ekadas Bhav, any of his identities. Therefore, when he was asked, whose daughter are you? He didn't know. He only had the form of a gopi. He didn't have any identity of a gopi. Therefore, he could not answer. And therefore, the gopis abused him until Purnamasi can know, he's my Kripa Patra. He's a recipient of my mercy. He's Lord Shiva. So, to satisfy the Nityasiddha gopis, because they were feeling that there's so many newcomers, there's all kind of moods, and Krishna made another Ras Lila, which is called Vasanti Ras, in the springtime, and that happened in the place where we are now, Candra-sarovara. Sarovar means a lake, and Chandra means the moon, as you all know. So when the moon god saw the Ras Lila, he became completely stunned with astonishment, and he just couldn't move. So he remained in the sky for the whole duration. Therefore, this place is called the Lake of the Moon. And it's very beautiful. It has so many ghats and so many construction with different sadhus sitting there. I think mostly from the Pushtima. Of course, you have Surdas there, one of them, and Balabhacharya. So very, very beautiful kund, quite large. And I remember with Srila Gurudev, we used to sit next to a very beautiful shrine there, and we'd sit with Gurudev, and he would speak, or he would ask us to speak. I remember speaking there one time. And the place is enchanting. It's quite a way. It's not a village. It's like you have to walk, or you have to come by bus like we just did. But no, otherwise you have to walk quite a long way from the road. There's just a big goshala next to that, and there's just a couple courtyards of with cows, and some temples are there. There is a beautiful temple of Doji also there. There's a Sankarshan Kund next to it with a Doji temple also. And also there is a temple of Radha and Krishna, where Krishna also there decorated the hair of Shrimati Radhika. So there's like a Shringar Mandir there. It's called Shringar Mandir. Again, Krishna pacified Radhika there. And because just like in the big Maharaj, Krishna did the same. He can't control himself. He danced with each gopi, and Radhika again became upset. And she left, and he also left. And then all the gopis felt so much distress, right? That will take us to the next place, Paitha. No? But here in Candra-sarovara, you have a beautiful small temple to Surdas. Surdas belong to the Vallabha Sampradaya or Pushti Marga. And there is a Vallabha Bhetak there. They call him Mahaprabhu. Sometimes we hear Mahaprabhu, so as devotees we Mahaprabhu is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But in the Vallabha Sampradaya, Vallabha is called Mahaprabhu. So you have some Mahaprabhu Bhetak in different places, and when we come, we say, this is not all Mahaprabhu, this is their Mahaprabhu. It's like a little different. Usually just a simple asan with big bolsters and usually not much representation. And there is this very small samadhi of Surdas. Surdas was there at the end of his life, and his samadhi is there. Now, Surdas was blind, as you know, and he was composing very beautiful poetry. They were translated about a century ago into French. I remember reading the book and taking notes. Very amazing poetry. Translated from Braj Boli. There's a special collection in France, Library of the East and Orient, and they collect all these rare works. So they happen to have a book on Surdas and also a book on Tukaram, with all his poetry. Very beautiful, and I learned them when I was a brahmachari. Used to quote them, very amazing. He has some poetry about the cow of my mind. You say, oh Krishna, you are the king of the coverts, but my mind is a very, very naughty cow. She never wants to stay on the path. She always wants to go on the side. And I'm trying to pull that cow of my mind, but I cannot control it. Oh, you king of the coverts, please control this naughty cow of my mind, and let it always stay on the path to your lotus feet. This is one of them, I remember. There's so many beautiful, beautiful imagery like that. So every day he used to describe the beauty of Srinathji. Remember that Madhavendra Puri found the deity of Gopal when he came to Vrindavana. Later on, after a couple of generations, there was some conflict between the Gojas and their line, and then they took that deity away, and now it is in Natadwar in Rajasthan. I went to see it 50 years ago, and again 2 years ago. The whole place changed. 50 years ago, it was like a small village, and you could just come in the temple as you like. Now you have to leave your phone, you have guidelines and police, and it's like it has become a whole institution. I remember that one thing, the temple was very small and packed. And then you could just go in, and at just the time to see the deity, offer your prayers, and all you were out. And if you wanted, you had to go back again in line. It was non-stop. And then the floor was not straight, it was a little like that, steep. And so you just, okay, I just need a chance to see Srinathji with this there's one deity of Srinathji, Nathji here at the Radhakund. He has his eyes looking like that. And they say that his eyes is looking down a little in shame, because when Krishna was lifting Govardhana hill, at one point, his eyes fell on the heart of the gopis. And Balaram caught Krishna looking at the heart of the gopis. And because Balaram is the older brother, Krishna felt a little ashamed. Oh, he's looking at me. He caught my glance looking at their chest. So he felt a little embarrassed, and he's looking down. So they said, this is the look on Srinathji, like a special look, he's looking down. So there is this story that Surdas every day was describing the beauty of the deity. And then one day, having some doubt, does he really see the deity in his heart, that he can describe every day the beauty of the deity like that? So one day he played a trick. He didn't dress the deity at all. He left the deity completely naked. And he said, Surdas, what do you see today? And Sultas today say, oh, today our Lord is Ananga. He's completely naked. Because he didn't see the deity with those eyes, of flesh. He could see them with, Bhav Netra, the eyes of praying in his heart. So he described it like that. And let me try to remember when he left, Balabhacharya, or his son, asked him, what is your wish? He said, I always want to see the Lord, but no, the birds of my eyes are leaving my body, and I will not be able to see him again. And then he left his body, and then it was declared, oh no, the lamp of the Pushti Marga, means the path of Balabhacharya, has gone from this world. No, there is no Balabhacharya. He took Radha mantra from Gadadhar Pandit, and then gradually, not from his time, but one generation or two generations after, from worshiping Radha Krishna, they started to worship child Krishna. For instance, Sumati Moran, she's the one who paid Prabhupada's ticket for America on the Jaladuta. She belonged to that line. Because in Gujarat, most of them, they are worshipping in that line, Pushti Marga. So Pushti Marga, they are the philosophy of Pushti means grace. They say that everything depends upon the grace of the Lord. A little bit like in South India, you have those two philosophies, the baby kitten and the baby monkey. Maybe Vivekananda Maharaj knows the names. Warangal, I think one of them is called one sect. I think the Warangal, and the other one has another South Indian name. I don't remember. So some say we should leave everything to the Lord. Everything is depending upon His grace. We don't have to do anything. A little bit like in Protestantism, Paul said everything is by grace. So this is their idea. And then the other says no, because they give the example, the small kitten is not doing anything. His mother picks him up in her mouth, and the same mouth which is death for the rat, it becomes very comfortable because he's just having a ride in his mother's mouth. She doesn't bite, just holds his neck, and he just meow meow, doesn't have to do anything. And the other example, the other school said, no, we have to do everything. So it's compared to the small baby monkey. And we see baby monkeys, they do everything. So they cling to their mother. When they're big enough, they go on the back of the mother. Mother is not doing anything. The child, the baby monkey, has to do everything. Yeah, and she, and then Markatanyaya and Marjan.
Marjan.
Yeah, but there's the two names.
That's Vadakalai and Tenakalai.
Okay, so I pronounced it completely wrong. Say it again. Vadakalai
and Tenakalai.
And Tenakalai. That's also Indian names. But Ramanuja Acharya says we don't follow either. We take a mix of the two. We do our efforts, and we also depend on the grace. And we are told, Gurudev revealed to us, when Mother Yashoda was binding Krishna, 2 fingers were missing. And Gurudev taught us that those 2 fingers indicated our own sadhana, and then the grace that the sadhana is calling for. Not just the sadhana, not just the grace, a combination of the two. So the monkey logic, baby monkey logic, and kitten logic mixed. That is Ramanuja's idea. This is Saraswati Thakur has taken this idea from Ramanuja, like so many ideas. So Pushti Marg is based on this idea that everything depends upon grace, Pushti. And there is this beautiful poetry that Gurudev was telling us, which is in our songbook, that is from his son, Vitalacharya. Kripayati Yadiradha Vavitashe Shabada Kima Parama Vashishta Pushti Maryada Yordi. Oh, if I receive the grace of Srimati Radhika, what else do I need to achieve? I will have achieved the goal of the path of Vedi Bhakti and the path of the goal of the path of Ragamarga. And yet no. Yadi Bharati Sakinshit no. Smaraso Ditashri Multikshuchakadakim. And if when Radhika is giving me her grace, she smiles at me and I see the little rows of pearl which are her teeth. At that time, when I see that, what is the use of the oyster of liberation? Oyster has pearls, right? But the oyster of liberation has no pearls. But Radhika, if she smiles and I see the little pearls of her teeth, or pearl-like teeth, then what is the use of the empty oyster of liberation? Very, very beautiful. Very beautiful prayer. I remember quoting that and Gurudev was looking, and I was thinking, oh, Gurudev, maybe please, I learned that. Kripayati, it's not Kripayati Yadi Radha. If I receive the mercy of Radha, then what else do I need? So this is a line of Vallabhacharya. Everything is based on grace. And unfortunately, with the time they kind of deviated. That's another story we don't want to get into. Even when Prabhupada wrote about it, Srimati Morarji was not happy with him. No, because he had made some critique about that line to which Now that takes us very next to that place, because this Candra-sarovara is in what is called Parasholi. It used to be the old name, and then the Muslims invaders, they renamed it Mohammedpur, something like that. Gave it a Muslim name. No, we went last year with Shripan Bhakti Papantirtha Maharaj, and there was this big Goshala. Maharaj was very interested. He loves cows, so we went. We spent a lot of time going to the Goshala. There was also like a place where they care of old cows and treat them very nicely. At a very small distance from there is Petagram. I want to say also something. When Baladev, just like you were speaking about Baladev in Shirgat, right? Dancing with Krishna's gopis to pacify them, and he became black because he was absorbed in Krishna. So if we go on Govardhana, there's a place. Mahaprabhu told us not to climb on Govardhana. So the Gujaris, the local people, they climb. There is this small Balaram temple. We can see it on both sides. Right? There's like pinks. And what we can see is the mukut on the left side of Govardhana as we walking. Then when we come, Govardhana is on our right. So at one point, I think after Govinda Kund or before Govinda Kund? After Govinda Kund, in that big straight line there, sometimes you see some nilgai, those blue cows, half deer, half cows on the hill. So there's a little path going toward the hill. You see on top the small dome of that Balaram temple, and just below there's a small shrine, not really a shrine actually, it's just some bushes around in one tree. And then there is a rock on which there is a imprint of Balaram's mukut, his crown. So we can go and touch that, and pray to Balaram for spiritual strength. And Lord Balaram, it is said that in that temple is black, because from there, Candra-sarovara is not far. So Balaram was on the Govardhana hill looking at Krishna, and he became so absorbed in him that he also turned black. So in that temple, we don't go and take darshan. Mahaprabhu also didn't go on the hill. Even when he wanted to see Gopal fulfilled his desire. There was a festival, if you remember, a few days after Mahaprabhu coming. And then the day Gopal was taken down from the temple on the hill, and he could have his darshan in the village. So on to Petagram, which is actually after Candra-sarovara, few kilometers, if I remember properly, there is this Petagram. So Krishna had left the rasa dance. And all the gopis were in anxiety, looking for him. Now Krishna somehow wanted to remain incognito, unfound. He didn't want them to find him. So as they were nearing the place where he was hiding in the bush, he took a four-handed form of Lord Narayan. And when the gopis came, they bowed down to him. Oh, Lord Narayan, have you seen Krishna? They bowed down to him. No interest, no attraction whatsoever. Although he said that Narayan is very beautiful, but for the gopis, no interest. Only one thing in their mind, where is Krishna? So they ask, they bow down to, oh, Narayan, Namaha, have you seen Krishna? No, we are looking for him. But when Srimati Radhika came, oh, Krishna could not maintain his Narayan form, and two of his arms went into his stomach, Petagaya. So the place is called Petagram, the village of Peta means stomach. Two of the arms of Krishna instantly disappeared, and he was standing in front of Srimati Radhika. He tried to pacify her, saying, oh, when you left, I felt so broken-hearted, therefore I also left to see you. Please, promise that you never do man again. Because this is a weapon of Srimati Radhika. We heard from Pujapad Tridanti Maharaj that she does this actually only to please Krishna, because that spices the relationship. So in Peta, Krishna made her promise, please promise that you never do man again. When you do man, I am completely helpless. But there's a story Gurudev told one time, that this is called Guru Mara Vidya, the knowledge to kill the Guru. Krishna was thinking, when Radhika does man, I'm helpless. I can do whatever I want. Even my flute, my most powerful weapon, is not up to this, not to defeat Irma. So on this, she teaches me how to do man. If I was doing man, maybe that could counteract Irma. I remember Gurudev laughing so much when he was telling that. So one day Krishna approaches her, just like the Pandavas approached Bhishmadev one evening, during the battlefield. Pitamaha, unless you tell us how to defeat you, this battle will never stop, because you have the boon to live, Ichamritu, to leave your body to die when you want, like the two demons were telling us now. So how can you kill her? How can we kill you? Guru Maravidya, the knowledge to kill the Guru. So he told them, if you put Shikandi in front of Arjuna on the chariot, and she sends arrows, because she was a woman last life, and I remember it, I will not answer. So Arjuna can be behind her and pierce me with his arrow. That's the only way you can kill me. If Arjuna kills me with the arrows. And we know that Arjuna didn't kill him. He pierced him, and Bhishmadeva was waiting until the sun would be in the right direction towards the north. And he was laying on his bed of arrows. I went last year again to Kurukshetra after something 45 years, and then saw again these places. Very touching, because we heard so much Gurudev was telling. So Guru Maravidya, Krishna approaches Radhika, said, Radhika, could you teach me man? She said, yes, sure, of course. So listen, I will speak to you, I will call you, but you're not to answer, just to turn away your face and not answer me. Okay? Ready? Yes. Shyam? Yes. Shyam, I just told you, you don't answer and you turn your face. Okay, second attempt. Shyam, yes, Radha? Shyam, I think you spend too much time with the cows. Your mind has become a little dull like that, like animals. Okay, last chance. No. Shyam? No, Krishna has learned the lesson. He turns away. Oh, she said, oh, very good. Yeah, very good. Shyam? Shyam? Well, she becomes a little anxious now. Is doing man, and that he never did man to her before. And he doesn't know she doesn't know what to do. So she said, Shyam, and pulling his pitamba, and he just ignores her completely. Now, one parrot of Vrinda, because she understands everything. She's the one who writes a script every day. What will happen today? Okay, Krishna will go there. We'll go to meet Radhika. Okay, let's send, Shebya will come and try to divert him to Chandravalikam. Oh, that's a good start, okay? And follow the intrigue like that. So Vrindadevi immediately understands, and one parrot, comes and tells her, Krishna has learned man from Radhika, and she cannot break his man. So what do we do? This is not in the script. So immediately she sends Chandramukhi, one Saki, and she goes to Krishna and she says, Shyam, what's happening? And Shyam says, well, she only taught me how to enter into man. She didn't tell me how to get out of man. I want to get out, but I don't know. She didn't teach me that. I knew there was such a sweet, childlike smile on his face when he was telling me. I can still remember. So in Petagram, Krishna couldn't hide his real self, because Radhika, what is the power of Madanakya Mahabhav? She completely overpowers him. I was reading in a little booklet you gave me of Bhakti Jivan Maharaj. He says something extraordinary. He said, Krishna is the form of the mellow of the love of Radha. Means he's completely dependent upon her. Even his form is dependent upon her. When I read that, I said, did I understand properly? Because I'm translating into French. Any nectar book I find, I have to translate. So he said, Krishna is the form of the embodiment of the mellow of love of Radha for him. That means he's completely fully dependent upon her. Even his form, okay, Sandini Shakti, right? But his form is also dependent. I never heard that, I never read that before. But Bhakti Jivan Jaladhan Maharaj is one of the Siksha Gurus of Gurudev. Gurudev even writes in one Amanist, if I remember one article, that he was speaking one time with Jivan Jaladhan Maharaj, Bhakti Jivan Jaladhan Maharaj, who was actually leading the parigram before any of us came in the early days. He said, usually those topics are completely taboo. We never speak. All sannyasis, sometimes behind closed doors, they will exchange those topics of Radha Krishna Lila. But never to the general devotee is what to speak of the public. But this is a wealth of our line. Unless you speak them, they will be lost. So in giving the instruction, you should speak on this. So Gurudev is writing at the risk of being criticized by everyone who don't understand what I'm doing. Everywhere I'm going, all over the world, I'm sharing those truths. This is a wealth of our line. And Gurudev many times told us, you don't know when you get the next opportunity to hear such things. One devotee one time after one nice kata said, oh, thank you, Gurudev. He said, you cannot thank me for this. There's no way you can repay me for this. What I'm saying, maybe many lives will pass before you can hear it again, because nobody is speaking about this. I was ordered to speak about it so that it wouldn't be lost. So maybe I think my time is up. You will speak on Bahulavana. So who will speak on Bahulavana? Who will stop?
Maharaj, we have Vipin Prabhu to cover Vaikanas Maharaj.
Okay.
For the last two places. I think it's there's only one place more, right? Bahulavana.
Kumudavana.
We only play
And Kumudavana.
Kumudavana is where Mahaprabhu heard the two parrots speaking, the female parrot and
That's it, Bahulavana.
That's a
Bahulavana.
Sometimes they say,
Huh?
Kumudavana we see from distance, full of lotuses.
We don't, because it's being never go, it's always flooded.
Well, Maharaj, if you would
Okay.
like to speak, you can speak.
No,
I just want to hear.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
you go ahead.
Bahulavana.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Maharaj.
actually, we just have
No.
darshan from this.
Yeah.
But Bahulavana, tell the story. Tiger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vipin Prabhu also
Uh-huh.
please put your
Mara.
answer.
Gurve Gaurachandraya, Shri Radhikaya Tadale, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya, Tad Namo Nama. I've been asked to speak on Bahulavana. I was reading and writing something else, but all of a sudden I've been asked to speak about it. I was hearing Gurudev's lecture on Bahulavana. I'll just simply repeat that. Srila Gurudev started off by saying that there are 12 prominent forests in Vrindavan. Then there are 12 sub-forests in Vrindavan. And then there are 12 branches of these sub-forests. In total, 36 forests in Vrindavan. And then he said that though even in Vrindavan there is Nidhivan and many other forests, so one cannot count the number of pastime places which are there in Braj. And Gurudev said that this place, because I think he was speaking that in late 90s, and he said that the place is filled with so much of beauty in terms of nature. There were birds which were cooking at that time, and peacocks were there. So that gave Sfurti of Sriman Mahaprabhu's arrival there. When Sriman Mahaprabhu came to Bahulavan and he saw the beautiful waters which were filled with lilies and lotuses. So when Mahaprabhu arrived there, so there are two pastimes. One is the arrival of Sriman Mahaprabhu, and second, there's another beautiful pastime of a cow. The reason this place is known as Bahulavan, because before Krishna's appearance, there was a cow who used to live there, and her name was Bahula. And after Krishna's appearance, there was a Sakhi who used to live there. Her name is Bahula. So I'll very quickly touch upon these 2 points. Srila Gurudev was mentioning that this cow called Bahula, one time, she came here, and there was a very ferocious and hungry tiger who saw her. The tiger was very hungry, had not eaten for days. And this tiger saw the cow and said that I will kill you today and I'll devour you, I'll eat you. Then the cow said, you can, I will allow you. If eating me satisfy you and dissipates your hunger, I'm ready to accept that, but I need to tell my little calf who is waiting for me. It's a very simple and very powerful instructional pastime. So if you allow me to go back to the Goshala, I'll tell my calf that today is the last day the calf can drink milk from my udders, and then I'll come to you tomorrow and then you can eat me. The tiger, he believes that she would come back. The tiger said that if you are not going to come back, not only I'm going to eat you, I'm going to also eat the calf. The cow said that since I'm a cow of Braj, since I'm Krishna's cow, when I give a word, I never take it back. I'm giving you the promise that after feeding my calf, I will come back tomorrow for sure, without doubt. Tiger agrees to the proposal. The mother cow goes back to the Goshala, and seeing tears in the eyes of the mother, the calf says, Mother, why are you crying? She reveals to the calf that tomorrow I have to go because I have promised to this tiger that he will eat me. Then the calf said, No, mother, since now you're back to the Goshala, the tiger cannot come here. You are safe. She said, No, I've given the promise. If I do not fulfill the promise, it will bring bad name to Krishna. Since I'm a cow of Krishna, since I'm a devotee of Krishna, if I say anything, I must fulfill it. Otherwise, people will criticize my master. And the position of a servant is that any wrongdoing which is being done by the servant, the society never blames the servant, they always blame the master. So I must go back. And it is a duty of a disciple to also act properly, not improperly, because eventually the Guru and the Vaishnavas, they come under the radar and everyone criticizes them. Wearing a tilak on the forehead and doing something wrong, it defames the entire lineage of Srimad Mahaprabhu. So this cow is giving the instruction that though you can kill me now, but you give me an opportunity, I'll just go and feed my calf and I'll come back. So the calf said, no, 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 mother, you don't go, I go. You can still give birth to others, right? Because you're a mother. And my life is just starting, but you can give birth to many other calves. Hearing this conversation, the person who takes care of cows, he overheard this. He said, no, no, both of you don't go. I will go. Why? Because tiger wants to just, dissipate his hunger. He can eat me. He can eat me, not you. So while they were discussing this, the next morning, without telling anyone, the cow left. And the tiger saw the cow. He was very surprised. He said, I've never seen anyone. I let you go. You could have saved your life by not coming back, but why did you fulfill this promise? She said, because if I did not fulfill the promise, you would criticize my master. And my master is Krishna. If I do something wrong, just like a disciple does something wrong, then the blame comes on Sri Guru. The blame comes on Sampradaya. The blame comes on Parampara. So it's a very heavy responsibility to be a disciple. It's a heavy responsibility to be a guru, but it's also an equally and heavy responsibility to be a disciple. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ji would say that the relationship between Sri Guru and a disciple is very, very grave. So Tiger said, why did you come back? He said, because if I did not, you would. I was not worried about my life. I was worried about that in your fraternity, people will stop believing the cows of Krishna. So now it's your turn. I'm in front of you. I'm surrendered unto you. You can kill me. The moment Tiger was about to devour her, immediately the little calf came in. He said, no, 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 you should not kill my mother. You kill me. The tiger was like, wow, why don't I kill both of you? Then as Tiger was thinking to kill both of them, then the person who takes care of cows, he came in. He said, no, no, you kill me. Why are you killing these animals? You want to, dissipate your hunger? I can, you can eat me. I'm a human being. Probably you like the flesh of a human more than the animals. And the tiger was like, oh, why don't I kill all three of them? The mentality of exploitation. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj said this, the three planes of life, a plane of exploitation, a plane of renunciation, and a plane of dedication. The cow and the calf and others are on the plane of dedication to each other. And Srila Gurudev would always say this in this book called Harmony, very small book, very powerful book. Gurudev said that we should always keep the moods of other prominent. If we keep the moods of other prominent, then there are less chances of quarrel. And these three personalities are exactly showing the symptoms of the Brajvasis. When Krishna was in Bhandirvan at Munjavati, and he was going to swallow the forest fire, Krishna said to the Sakhas, Nimiliyat ma bhaishtam api abhashyata, close your eyes. Sakhas were like, why should we close our eyes? He said, because I know a mantra which does not work in public, so if you close your eyes, that would be like, no one is here. But Krishna did not want to show that he is swallowing forest fire. Because if the Brajvasis and the Sakhas would even heard Krishna is swallowing forest fire, Sriman Jiva Goswami Pad is saying that the Sakhas would jump in the fire themselves. They don't care for their life. They do not want Krishna should save them at the cost of even a slightest trouble to him. So Tiger's intelligence was at the plane of exploitation, animalistic mentality. Everything is mine. Everything is meant for my pleasure. I'm not going to get satisfied with one, not two, three. Everything is mine. I want to be the conqueror, the master. When all of them were ready to offer themselves to the tiger, immediately Krishna came there to save the cow. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Vipra Dhenu Surasant Hit Lino Maruj Avatar in Ramayana also mentioned. For the devotees, for sadhus, for Brahmins, for cows, he comes. Why? Because they are dependent. They cannot save themselves. So Krishna came and he looked at the tiger, and the loving hand of Krishna he placed on the head of the tiger. Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. When he touched the conch shell of Sri Dhruvji, Dhruvji wanted to glorify Bhagavan, and he was not sure how to do it because he never went to school and how to put proper sentences. Sri Shukdev Goswami Pad says, Kritanjali Brahmayen Kambuna Pasparsha Bale Kripaya Kapole, the conch shell of Bhagavan, when it touched the cheeks of Sri Dhruvji, Dhruvji spoke the stuti. I'm sure, other speakers or sannyasis must have touched upon it. So Krishna with his hand, and the one of the sangya or the title or the features of Krishna's hand is known as Varad Rishabh. Varad Rishabh means that his hands can fulfill all desire. Krishna can fulfill, all desire, and it can also prashmit bhaya. Bhaj udand krira prashmit bhaya komal karah sadev Shri Radha Raman iya chitte svurtu mein. The hands of Krishna, it removes all types of fear. So first, Krishna, when he placed the hands on the head of the tiger, tiger is in the mode of ignorance all the time, deep ignorance, like snakes and others. The cows are situated in the mode of goodness. But Krishna is above three mode of goodness. He placed his hand on the head of the tiger, and immediately this idea of killing others, doing violence, immediately his heart changed completely. And he started repenting. Oh, what was I doing? Because of hunger, I was acting like this. Just like, and a similar pastime is seen in Srimad Mahaprabhu's. Going to Jharkhand, even those animals who are against each other, they start dancing in harmony. Wherever Krishna is present, harmony is bound to come. Unity and harmony are two aspects by which one can judge whether there is presence of Krishna or not. At the beginning of the creation, there were so many elements were there. Mahat Tattva was there, the senses were there, but creation was not taking place. So in Bhagavatam it is mentioned that when Krishna entered in all these elements, creation came into place. Similarly, the mode of ignorance, like tiger was there, the mode of sattva-guna, cows were there. But Krishna is beyond three modes of nature. The moment he touched the head of the tiger, he came out of this mode of ignorance and he was able to see things as they are and started repenting that I lost my intelligence because I could not see what is good for me. I will not kill any one of them. That is one very beautiful instruction given in the Shilgur. They were speaking about it. Very quickly about Bahula Sakhi. Gurudev said that all these Sakhis are married to Javat, married in Javat. And today is also the disappearance day of Srimad Narottam Das Thakur. He's saying in his songs called Prathana that Hari Hari Kabe Habe Sei Din Amar. Chadiya Purusha Deha Dharibe Prakriti Kab. That when will I be able to give up this mode of being the enjoyer, being this position of a bhokta, and I'll be able to get the form of Prakriti, the form of a Sakhi, or the form of Prakriti means a nature to serve. So Gurudev said that all these gopis are married in Javat, much like Sri Lalita Sakhi is married, is born in Uchagaon. She lives there. Shri Bahula Sakhi, she lives here in Bahulavan. And at this particular place, Radhika entered into Man. I will not go into that pastime. Gurudev is briefly mentioned that also. Just quickly about Srimad Mahaprabhu's arrival. Srimad Mahaprabhu came to Braj, and when he came to Braj, and especially at this particular place, we see the beautiful picture where all the deers and cows, they're coming and licking the body of Srimad Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu came and he saw the beautiful nature. The birds were singing very beautifully. The peacocks were dancing. Srimad Jiva Goswami Pad says in Braja, no matter whatever the season is, as per the desire of Yogamaya, the desire of Prabhu, the desire of Krishna, it dictates the season. Even if it's hot season, it still appears like it is Vasant, it is spring. So Mahaprabhu came there and he saw that the whole place was filled with so much of beauty. The birds were chirping, the cuckoo birds were singing, the peacocks were dancing, lotus and lilies were blossoming on the surface of the lake, and he saw that beautiful nature. It reminded him all of his previous pastimes. It reminded him all of the time, all of those pastimes when he would come here to pacify the man of Shiradika. All of the pastimes which he, because as a boy, because Bahulavan is not far away from Chattikara. Nearby Bahulavan, there's a place called Ral. Ral is a place of Shri Vishbhanu Maharaj. When Krishna, Nanda Maharaj was staying in Gokul, Vishbhanu Maharaj was staying in uh, Raval, in Raval. When Nanda Maharaj was staying in Chattikara, Vishbhanu Maharaj was staying in Ral, nearby Bahulavan. And when they were staying in Kamevan, Vishbhanu Maharaj also had a palace near. And when they came back to Nandagaon, Vishbhanu Maharaj started staying in Prasada. So Mahaprabhu when saw that beautiful place, immediately all the cows and the deers, they came and they started licking the bodies of Srimad Mahaprabhu. It's the same fragrance, it's the same personality. They were able to recognize. They were able to recognize. Srila Bhakti-Raksh Sridhar Maharaj writes something in connection with this about a sincere disciple. We say that Srila Gurudev never leaves us, but many a times we feel that he has left us. But he writes in Sri Guru and Grace that a sincere disciple would be able to trace the spirit of their Gurudev, though their Gurudev may be in a different body, but he would be able to say, you know what, that is my Gurudev. They're able to trace that same spirit, that same idea, that same mood. Similarly, the cows and the peacocks, though around 5,000 years have passed by, 4,500 years have passed by, these cows and these peacocks, when they came closer to Mahaprabhu, they were able to recognize the same fragrance. They were able to understand that is none other than Sri Shyamasundar. And Mahaprabhu was hugging them. Mahaprabhu was hugging these cows. He was massaging these cows. He was scratching them, and the deers were coming and licking his body. And then, for the pleasure of Sriman Mahaprabhu, as it used to happen during Krishna's pastime, Sri Radhika, who teaches all the birds and the parrots in Vrindavan, similar thing happened here because Sri Radhika knows that Krishna is coming to Braj in her mood. So, in order for his pleasure, all the things were were already arranged for him. So as Maharaji mentioned, from Bahulavan, he looked towards Kumudavana, and there he saw Shuk and Sari on this branch and conversing about who is higher and who is the master and who is the servant. Mahaprabhu, when he looked at it, he remembered all those wonderful conversations which he used to have Shri Radhika during his time as Krishna. Shuk said, "My Krishna is Madan Mohan. He is the one who enchants the Cupid." Shri Gurudev said, yes, that's fine. He can enchant the Cupid, but Shri Radhika is Madan Mohan Mohini. The one who enchants the Cupid, the one who is Sakshat Manmatha, Tasamavirbhuta Shauri, Smayanmanam Mukhambujam, Pitambar Dhari Sagri Sakshat Manmatha. That Manmat who appeared, the one who churns the hearts of millions of Cupid, just by a one sidelong glance of Shri Radhika, he is captured. one sidelong glance of Radhika and everything is being put to rest. Sriman Prabodhana Saraswati Path says one time Krishna was bowing down on the path of Vrindavan, and somebody asked me that who are you bowing down to? He said, I'm bowing down to this path. He said, what's happening is, he said, this path leads to a very special Nikunja. He said, what is in that Kunja? He said, in that Kunja there is a secret which has stolen my heart. So when Mahaprabhu heard Shuk and Sari, Shuk said, Krishna is Madan Mohan. Sari said, that's fine, but he's Madan Mohan only when Shri Radhika is with him. Gurudev said, he's hero with Radhika, but if Radhika is not there, he's zero. He's actually Nirvishesh Brahma. You know, he's Nirvishesh Brahma. All the Visheshta, all the qualities, all the pastimes, all the guna comes from Shri Radhika. He says, then Shuk says, well, he wears peacock feather. The Sari says, there's no big deal about it. Anyone can wear peacock feather because it's all over the Braj. But if you see the position of the peacock feather, it is tilting towards the lotus feet of Shri Radhika. And what is written in the peacock feather? The name of Shri Radhika. This particular verse mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Barhitate Nayana Naranam, that the perfection of eyes is to see Krishna. The perfection of eyes is to see Krishna and Shri Radhika. Even peacock feathers have eye which has no use. The perfection of eyes is to see Krishna and Shri Radhika. Otherwise, peacock feather also has the mark of an eye on it. So the peacock feather is tilting towards lotus feet of Shri Radhika. The Vanshi is at the lotus feet. So this beautiful conversation is being mentioned in Gurudev's Brajmandal Parikrama book. And the time is up. You know, these leelas can go on. I'm particularly not qualified to talk about these things. I was just roped into this Harikatha at the very last moment. And I just thought of sharing what Shri Gurudev had mentioned in these places. Okay. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Bahulavana ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. I appreciate that you got dragged in, but that was phenomenal to hear those places, Bahulavana especially, where Gurudev has spoken so nicely on those places as well. So very, very fortunate. Tomorrow it's the divine appearance day of Radha Kund and Sham Kund. It's Bahul Astami. So tomorrow Shripad Tridandi Maharaj and Shripad Vaikanas Maharaj will speak on this place, this Radha Kund and Sham Kund. So please do join, same time as tomorrow. There will be days that the time does change, but for now the time is the same. Tridandi Maharaj, did you want to say something?
That was beautiful guitar, Bipin. That was mesmerizing, completely ecstatic. Thank you so much for that. I really feel benedicted by your guitar tonight.
Vishnu.
Excellent. Excellent. Tomorrow, perhaps, Shuddhadwaiti Maharaj will also speak something on Radha Kund. And
Wonderful.
even Maharaj is here. He can also chime in with something. So we can just bless.
Who else is there? Sorry, Maharaj.
If Nemi Maharaj happens to come, he's welcome to say anything that's left out.
Yes.
And
We will.
they're celebrating here today.
Yeah.
It's Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj's place. Tomorrow, they're going to celebrate his disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, but we're celebrating it the day after.
Yeah, we're celebrating it the day after. Maybe there's some time difference. I'm not sure.
Yes, no problem. Because they're celebrating here, I think, Bahulastami today, and we're celebrating it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So lots of fake news going around.
Fake news. I love that picture of you. I want to share it with everyone.
No.
Okay. I want to share it.
Thank you so much, Ishwari. Dandavat pranams. Haribol.
Since we don't have a kirtan to close, I will just say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, the entire Rupanuga Guru Varg ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Hari.